a concern that didn't end in the Civil Rights Act of 1968, but rather is a controversial, ongoing issue that is fresh in America's mind today. A question that we are probably asking ourselves are, what are the daily events that are affecting social justice? Well, my partner Miles is going to recap on some of the issues that have sparked the social movement today.
Back in July, news broke out that Darren Wilson, a white police officer, shot and killed an unarmed teenager, Mike Brown. Without any real facts about the case coming to light, people immediately sided with Mike Brown, which resulted in him being the case to platform for the movement to stop police brutality and institutionalized racism. In November later that year, a grand jury decided not to indict Darren Wilson because of conflicting eyewitnesses, lack of evidence, and a special law protecting police officers, but more on that later. The lack of the indictment sparked more ferocious riots throughout the town of Ferguson because this appeared to be an act of institutionalized racism, and the decision was based on his race rather than cold hard facts. A main advocator for these riots was Mike Brown's father, who was caught on video saying, "Burn this profanity down." Since then, a federal investigation was launched into the case, and recently they have concluded not to press charges against Darren Wilson. Why? Because they had to find evidence that he had a clear motive to shoot Mike Brown before the incident occurred, and they could not find that. But that was just one of the spark points. The next incident would further fuel the American anger against the police. African-American Eric Garner died after police attempted to put him under arrest on suspicion of selling untaxed cigarettes. A cell phone video taken by a bystander shows Officer David Patello place Garner in a non-regulation chokehold, even though he gasped, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe."
Put your hand behind your back. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
The difference between the regulation and non-regulation chokehold is that regulation is putting pressure on the sides of the neck and on the arteries around the head, rather than the non-regulation chokehold, which constricts the windpipe and has a higher chance of death. They did not indict the officer because it turned out that the chokehold was not the fatal cause of Garner, but rather his asthma and heart problems.
NYPD versus Mayor de Blasio. Tensions between de Blasio and police have spun into a bitter feud. Officers blame the mayor for what they call anti-police words and policies. Mayor de Blasio publicly said that he even had to warn his biracial son so that his actions would not be misinterpreted by police as a man of color. He made the statement after the grand jury ruling to not indict the white officer, knowing that he cannot protect his son even in his position as mayor is the reality that we face in this country today. What the police officer heard was the mayor telling New Yorkers that he sadly but truthfully does not have faith in his own police force. After the murder of the 2 New York City police officers in the patrol car last month, a memo circulated among officers telling them not to make arrests unless, quote, with extreme discretion. This has to do with the stop and frisk practices that violate the civil rights of thousands of Black and Latino residents. Because of this, the department feels that the mayor is responsible for the murders of the 2 New York City officers. The head of the police union blamed de Blasio and called the mayor a racist and said that his changing policies to back up his racial position, which was not the case. At the end of this year, because de Blasio has made the statement about his son public, it has caused a division between him and the police department. The police department was not ready for the truth to be exposed that there's racism amongst their officers, and de Blasio is taking every hit that occurs because they have now portrayed him as a racist. It is now going to be hard for de Blasio, who still has 3 years left as mayor, to gain a relationship with the police department. And he will need the support of the officers if he is going to govern a city.
The reason why it is nearly impossible to indict a police officer is because of certain statutes that state that a police officer is allowed to use deadly force when his life feels threatened. Now, the reason why this is so controversial is that that definition to the police officer can be widely stretched or used as an umbrella cover for to get out of any of his consequences. In my opinion, people just want to feel safe. And so in order to achieve that, we must find a solution so justice can be brought to those corrupted police officers, but also have a safe community where police officers aren't being kicked out every day because of a simple misunderstanding. And so in order to achieve that, body cameras are a very great solution, but as of right now, they are too expensive to place on every police officer. So right now, I believe people just need to have more of a sense of compliance to the police, maybe in a sense that they need to, in order to not create conflict, present themselves in a more willing fashion to the police and thoughts that everything will be sorted out.
On the social justice events occurring in Ferguson is that there's no one solution to this problem. Miles, my partner, had a good suggestion that by using body cameras on officers, it would provide us with an on-site visual of the scene of the crime. Yes, I agree that that could be one layer towards the solution, but I feel that until we really get to the root of the problems, there will never be real change in the security of people of color. Spending more time understanding the root of the problem while instituting body cameras and not only internal but external investigations and police car cameras on at all times will help. And also identifying that racial profiling, whether it be training officers to see this, is more solutions that will benefit change not only in Ferguson but also throughout America.
My dream is to be free.